just turned on the mic so I can tell you guys. Got a few more minutes before I start, about 3 minutes, because, and obviously there's something wrong with my station again. There always is with Blog Talk Radio, but I'm sharing them to the groups. So just hang loose. A couple minutes I'm gonna go live. I got a lot of stuff to cover, so just hang in there. Let me just continue my sharing, and then we'll get to it. Just hang in there. I don't know why Blog Talk Radio always shuts down right before the show, you know. But it is what it is. Technology, computer, you know, can't live with them, can't live without them. But I'm going to talk a lot about the NBA playoffs today. I'm going to talk about Jason Witten retiring in the NFL. I'm going to talk about Ben Roethlisberger being kind of selfish the way he is. But I'm going to tell you why I don't think he's really being selfish. It's just, you know, just the way it is. But hang in there. Another few minutes and we'll go ahead and start. I just got to do a lot of sharing on Facebook, which always takes time. I wish there was a way. Anyone work for Facebook? You got to find a way so I can just click the groups with a little check mark in the little boxes and then just go ahead and share them. That would be a lot quicker and a lot easier for me. For a lot of people, I think, but you know, we'll get it fixed someday, I guess, huh? I'm inside. Now I gotta go to this one has a long group. There you go, Sports Talk 365. How you guys doing? Let me check my Blog Talk. Okay, let me connect to the. Put on my headphones so I can hear what they're saying. Let's go to. What's going on? Come on, media. Shoot, 26 seconds. We going live. Can I get the rest of the group shared by 26 seconds? Probably not. That's alright. We can do it on air while we going. I'm gonna go no headphones today, just so I can. Hey, welcome to the OST, the Opinionated Sports Talk Show, debate, dispute, controversy with your boy Brian. How's everybody doing? I decided to start doing them on Mondays. I just feel I'm off on Mondays. I have more preparation time. It's not like I just sit down and I probably could, but I like to have notes and facts in front of me, so I go ahead and do a lot of preparation for the show. Got a lot of stuff to cover. We're going to talk about the NBA playoffs, what's happening, Toronto, 76ers, teams that I thought would do better. We're going to talk about a small portion about Giants baseball, San Francisco Giants baseball, because I am from San Francisco here in the Bay Area. Got to show my Bay fans love. I got a lot of stuff to cover, so let's, I just got one more thing to do here. I got to share to the groups that allow me to broadcast in a group. Thank you guys, thank you. But let's get started with some NBA playoffs. You know, let me just say, man, if you listen to my show, you hear what I say. I thought Toronto would do better. I knew they would lose, but I didn't think they would probably get swept tonight. They're on right now. I thought the 76ers were the team to beat. I thought the 76ers were the team to beat this playoffs. I am wrong. They are not playing anywhere up to par that I thought they'd be playing. And it's kind of sad because I thought there was like I said, I thought they were the team. They're very young. They're fast. They have a 7-footer in Ben Simmons, but they just can't seem to get things going in this playoffs. And the problem is they won tonight. They played very good. They won tonight. I'm gonna go ahead and put my headphones on. I was gonna go no headphones, but I feel weird. I'm not hearing myself. All right, that sounds better. Oh, a little bass to my voice too. They won tonight. The problem I'm feeling that is going on with them is they just don't have the star. They just don't have the man that is, the person that is the go-to man, the LeBron, the Durant, the Kobe. And I thought Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid and JJ Redick would really spark this team and play good in the playoffs. I was wrong. I thought the Celtics would not be as good as they're playing without Kyrie Irving, but I'm wrong. I'll tell you when I'm wrong. I'm not going to sit there in front and say, I'm right, or make excuses. That's just not my style. I try to keep it 100, you know what I'm saying? But I just feel that, in order to beat a team, in order to be the man, you got to beat the man kind of thing, good old Ric Flair used to say that. They need to step up the game. And the Celtics, very good defensive team. All year long, they've been one of the top defensive teams in the league. What they've been doing was, they've been keeping Ben Simmons away from the hoop. They've been keep him on the perimeter. They make him shoot. He's a great passer. They don't give him any lanes to get into. They're keeping him out of underneath the boards and the glass there. And you can't win. JJ Redick is a good player, very good player, veteran. He's been around for a while. But you can't win championships with JJ Redick being the man. You got to have the LeBron, the Kyrie, the Steph, the Durant. You need that player to elevate the team. And, Joel Embiid and JJ Redick are averaging over 20 points a game. Ben Simmons is not. Ben Simmons, before tonight's game, had 16 turnovers, which is, I know that point guards and passers and people that distribute the ball handlers, they seem to have more turnovers than normal. But 16 in this postseason is not a good number. And they're just not playing smart. They need stars. They don't have them yet. They have a very good, athletic, young team. Ben Simmons, I think, is going to be the future. I think he's going to be one of the best players in the game as time goes on. This is only his second year. He was hurt a lot last year. But he's, the team is averaging 14.9 turnovers a game. You can't turn the ball over that much. Ben Simmons is only averaging 15 points a game, 9 rebounds, 8 assists. Those are decent numbers. Those are good. But like I said, they just don't have the it factor. The Celtics, they don't have a star either. I mean, since Kyrie and Jason Hayward in the first game of the season, Jason Hayward went down. But since Kyrie went down, and they have not had the go-to guy. But all their players are playing really good. They're all averaging over 12 points. Marcus Morris has 12 points. Jaylen Brown 17 points. Jason Tatum's at 17 points. Al Horford's at 18 points. He's playing really good defense, by the way. And Terry Rozier, is that how you say his name? Has stepped in for Kyrie Irving. And let me tell you, this guy is playing phenomenal. He's playing the best game, the best basketball he's ever played in his life. This is going to be, when you have 5 players averaging over double digits, you're doing it in a collective way. You're doing it in a very team way, and I absolutely love it. But the thing that's the thing that's advancing them is their defense. They're keeping Ben Simmons away. He's young. They're getting They're getting physical with Joel Embiid. Al Horford is a veteran. He's been playing superb throughout these playoff games. And I was completely wrong. I thought the 76ers were going to be the team to beat in the East. I really did. I thought they were young. I thought Ben Simmons would play better. But I guess not. They won tonight, so they're down 3-1. Celtics will win when they go back to Boston, and it will end the series. But the 76ers fans, you have a lot to look forward to. I'm telling you, you guys have a lot to look forward to. Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, you got Marquez Fultz. You got a young team. These three players stick together. You could develop a franchise. You could start winning games, and it's something that the 76er fans, Philadelphia fans, have something to look for. They were one of the worst teams in the league last year. They were absolutely horrible, but they stepped up. They played real good. Ben Simmons is back. He's healthy. I still think Ben Simmons is a very good player, if not one of the best players going to be. You'll be talking about Ben Simmons from years on. All he needs is more time to develop. In the NBA now, people are talking about Lonzo Ball's above, Marquez Fultz bust. Jason Tatum's playing really good. People are talking about these guys bust after their first year. You gotta wait. It takes time. When you come out of college after only one season of college ball, and you're playing in the pros, 2 years of college is probably not enough either. You need time to develop. Your body needs to strengthen up. Your mind needs to get stronger. You need to get smarter. You need to get that basketball IQ, they call it. And it's something that these players do not have coming out of college right away. There's a very far and few between. If you think of the last player that was a number 1 pick overall, or maybe even the number 2 pick, go ahead and think number 2 pick, number 3 pick. You go and think about those guys that came out of the draft. The last one that made an impact immediately, that came out of the draft at the number 1 or number 2 slot, and that is LeBron James. All these players take 3-4 years to develop, and that's just the way it is in basketball. They're kids coming out of college. They're playing grown men. The game's much faster, stronger, physical. They just need time to develop. And Ben Simmons is at that point where he's starting to develop. Joel Embiid is starting to develop. They still got Marquez Fultz. 76er fans, you're going to have a very good team if everything goes as everyone sees it, the way I see it, the way the coaching and management, front office in Philadelphia sees it. This team is going to be one of the main teams. They're going to be a team to beat in the East. LeBron James doesn't slow down. He doesn't get any older. But the 76ers, I thought they would do better. They're not. But they won today. Celtics playing great defense. Terry Rozier is absolutely on. Is it Rozier, whatever? He is absolutely. I'm bad with names. Let me just clarify that. I'm bad with pronouncing names. Very good. Been playing very, very good. I honestly think if you take him out of the lineup right now and you inserted Kyrie Irving, there wouldn't be much difference of play right there. It just wouldn't be. So, Sixers, it's going to end when they go back to Boston. Boston will finish it out. I will talk about the Giants in a minute. Just give me some time. I'm talking about the NBA playoffs. Everyone's talking about the Rockets. The Rockets are going to be the team to beat. Houston fans and Warrior haters are going to say they're going to beat the Warriors. They're going to beat the Warriors. Chris Paul has never really been able in any team that he's been on. The Clippers, now Houston, and he's been with some good players down there, DeAndre Jordan, Blake Griffin. He's had good surroundings, good teams. But he's never been able to beat the Warriors. I know it's not a one-man sport. I preach it all the time. But he's just not going to be able to beat the Warriors. The Warriors are just so complete. They have so much. They have so many weapons. The Warriors are one of the teams. This is why they're a franchise. The Rockets, as good as Harden is, as good as Chris Paul is, that's only 2 players. Now, I know they're dynamic players, and Harden should win the MVP this year. Chris Paul is averaging over close to 19 points in this series, 6 assists. But he's averaging a lot of turnovers. James Harden averaging almost 30 points a game, 6 rebounds with almost 9 assists per game, but they're both averaging over 3 turnovers. Turnovers in basketball, in all sports, are very, very, it's like errors in baseball. You can't make errors and expect to win games. You can't turn the ball over and expect to win the games. But I just don't think what I'm talking about is Houston's not ready to be a franchise team, a dynasty team, I should say, not franchise, but a dynasty team. They're not going to be able to beat the Warriors. When you have Kevin Durant, who was shooting over almost 50% from the field, he's almost averaging 9 rebounds this playoff season. He's leading this team. Curry just came back, and Curry's playing good. He had a good game last game, but he's only been averaging about 19, 20 points in his return, which isn't normal for Steph. He's in the higher 20s, low 30s. But they're just not ready. There's 5 sisters calling me while I'm on air. Roberta, stop calling me. There's 5 things I believe that you need to have a franchise. And if you think about it, you look about the teams. Hold on one sec. Let me fix this again. If you think about it and look at it, there's 5 things. You got to have coaching. You got to have that coach that brings everybody together, that makes everyone gel, that makes everyone play good. I guess we're back. I don't know. I just think that you need the coach. You need that leadership. That's why coaches like Phil Jackson and those guys, they won a lot of championships because they had that get together. They had that ability to bring people together. I'm gonna talk about the Mark Jackson, Steve Kerr thing too. People talk about that all the time. But then you need guards that are good shooters. You need the guard, point guard, shooting guard. You need a good shooting guard in playoffs. I strongly believe that. If you look at San Antonio, good guards, Tony Parker, Ginobili. Then you go back to the Lakers. They had go to Kobe and Fisher. They just had shooters, warriors. They have Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, probably the best duo in the NBA. Then you got to play defense. You got to have some sort of defense. And the Warriors have all these things. They have the coaching, they have the guards that can shoot, they have the defense, and the experience. They're going to their 4th possible finals. They're trying to win their 3rd in 4 years. And you need the stars, like I said earlier. And that's what the Warriors have. They have stars. Curry sits down, he gets hurt. You have Durant, Klay, Green. Let's say Durant goes down, knock on wood, he doesn't. Then you got Curry, Klay, and Green. Green goes down, so forth and so forth. When Green playing probably defensive player of the year status, the way he's been playing all year. You got Durant, his best defensive season in his career. Iguodala coming off the bench playing, he always plays good defense. That's what it takes to win championships. And I don't think Houston got that. They've got dynamic players over there. They got great shooters. But if you shut down one of their shooters, you shut down Chris Paul, you shut down Chris Paul, you shut down James Harden, there's no one left. That's basically their whole team right there. And you get James Harden, you get in his head, you get him frustrated, he's done. He's one of those players that's driven by emotions. And great player. Chris Paul, one of the highest basketball IQs in the game today, but they just don't have what it takes to beat the Warriors. They will win the series. They will move on. They will beat Utah, but they're not going to get much further than that. It'll be a good series. They may sneak 2 wins from the Warriors, but they're not going to win. They're not going to go ahead and beat. They're not going to go ahead and beat the Warriors. That's just the way it is. The Warriors have the 5 points that I talk about: coaching, guards that can shoot, defense. They have the experience, and they have stars on the team. And those are the things that are needed to win championships and become a dynasty, and that's what they have. That's what they have. Let's see, I'm checking my notes here. I got a lot of stuff. Let me say thank you to Guru Energy Drink. I want you guys to go out and try this organic energy drink. No GMO, energy now, no crash later. I have one probably every day. It's not good for me, but I probably have. It's organic. I mean, it's better than Red Bull or those other brands, right? It's organic. The teams that are losing in the playoffs, teams that are not winning. I got something on my screen on my phone that keeps popping up. Teams that are losing in the playoffs. I said this before. You can't have turnovers. Utah leads in the postseason. They're leading in turnovers. They're losing. They're averaging almost 16 turnovers a game. Philadelphia, almost 15 turnovers a game. New Orleans, 14.5 turnovers a game. Toronto, 14.1 turnovers a game. Those are all teams that are going to be eliminated. Toronto will be finished out tonight probably by Cleveland. New Orleans will be finished out by the Warriors tomorrow. Philly barely hung on and won today. They will be eliminated next time. And Utah will be eliminated next time they play Houston. Why? Look at the turnovers. They lead the postseason in turnovers. 15.9 for Utah, 14.9 for Philly, 14.5 for New Orleans, and 14.1 for Toronto. Can't turn the ball over. Boston, only 9.7 turnovers. Cleveland, only 11.5. Boston, only 12.3. And the Warriors at 13 turnovers per game. It's just, you can't turn the ball over in the playoffs. That's just the way it is. And another thing that I always talk about in basketball is, hold on, let me get this. Another thing that I always talk about, man, you know, I'm so sick of it. All these sports groups that I like to be a part of, and I read their posts because that's where I get my show ideas and stuff from. There's just so much hatred for LeBron James. It's so much. People hate the guy so much that it's to a point where I'm confused why they hate him so much. Is it because he's that good? Oh, he flops. A lot of players flop. That's just the way the NBA play. James Harden, Westbrook, they do that lean-in shooting kind of to get that foul. I don't like that, but that's part of the game. Until the NBA changes it, there is a rule that if the referee determines that they're flopping, there will be no call, and they'll get the call on the other side. So it's just part of the game. And people say they hate LeBron. Oh, he's lost. He's been to this, but he's lost this. It's almost frustrating, and it's a tiring, never-ending discussion that I don't like having. But let me say this about LeBron. This guy's in the postseason, in the finals every year. You have to give him credit. If you don't like the guy because he flops, you don't like the guy because he has receding hairline, you don't like the guy because he went to Miami, you don't like the guy because he cries and runs Cleveland, whatever it may be, just give credit where credit is due. That's what I do. I'm not a huge LeBron fan. I'm not a huge Michael Jordan fan. But I'll give credit where credit is due, and I'm going to speak my opinion on the Opinionated Sports Talk Show. Tweet at me at yourboybrian25. He's stepping up his game. He is carrying a very below mediocre team. This has got to be one of the worst Cleveland teams that's probably going to get to they will get to the Eastern Conference Final. I mean, Kevin Love, yeah, he's an all-star, he's a good player, but he's not doing anything this postseason. He's averaging 9.6 rebounds a game, which is good, but only 1.2 assists per game, and he's only averaging 15 points. He is the second highest scorer on that team. Other than rebounds, LeBron James is leading in every category. He's played game 1, he played 47 minutes, 26 points, 13 assists, 11 rebounds. Game 2, 41 minutes, 43 points, 14 assists, 8 rebounds. Game 3, 41 minutes, 38 points, 7 assists, rebounds. He had 2 game-winning shots. That last shot, maybe it was what he said, and he studies angles and the shots that he practices at practice that he doesn't really think he'll be able to get into a game. Maybe, we don't know. We're going to take his word for it or not take his word for it. It depends if you like or hate the guy. And I just feel that this guy turns it up a notch. He is absolutely carrying this team. In January, LeBron's done. He's not going to get to the finals. He won't even get to the Eastern Conference. Toronto is a team to beat. Yeah, it's January. Here we are in May, and they're about to go to the Eastern Conference Finals. And they have a very good chance to beat the Celtics and get back to the finals for the 8th straight time. Now, people are so hung up on championships. Oh, he's not a good player because he's champion. He's not good. He's player because he's better because he won championship. Let me tell you something. In all sports, you know how difficult it is to be on the team and get back to a Super Bowl or a finals or a World Series. You know how difficult that is? And to go 8 times in a row is an accomplishment in itself. All right? Win, lose, draw, tie, whatever. 8 straight finals, if he gets there this year, is a remarkable number. And you can hate on him all you want because of his receding hairline or his flopping or whatever you're hating on the guy is. But going 8 straight times, if he gets there this year, is the most remarkable thing other than the Buffalo Bills going 4 times in a row. I know they lost 4 times in a row, but very good team. I still consider them one of the best teams in the NFL at that era because he went to 4 straight Super Bowls. They beat the wild card team, they beat the playoff team, they beat the AFC champion game, got to the Super Bowl. Unfortunately, they came across some tough teams. LeBron carrying a very not so very good team. I mean, Kevin Love's your second best player. You got Kyle Korver, you got J.R. Smith, Rodney Hood, Tristan Thompson. They're not going to win you championships. They're not all-stars. They're not going to be Hall of Famers. And like I said, out of the 7 times LeBron's been in the finals, Vegas had him underdog 5 of the 7 times. I'm telling you, when you're as old, well, let me just say I'm a lot older than LeBron, but when you're playing a professional sport and you're getting older, you've been in the league for 15 years, even though he came in when he was 30, 18, 19 years old. When you come in the league and you've been playing for 15 years and you're averaging in the postseason, I want you guys to think about it. How many minutes did he average during the regular season? Doesn't get hurt, doesn't miss games. He may sit out a game or 2, but he still led the NBA in minutes played. Now in the postseason, he's averaging 43 minutes of play. Add those time up over the last 7 years, going on 8 years. He's probably played more basketball than anybody. You can hate on him all you want. Go ahead and hate. He flops. He has a receding hairline. He went to Miami. He yells at his team. Whatever the case you may think, and the reason you hate him, just go ahead, but give credit where credit is due. And I know people are saying, oh, I'm getting tired of the Warriors Cavs. I'm getting tired of the Warriors Cavs. Not me. Just remember this too. LeBron James and the Cavaliers, I should say. It's never a one-man team. They beat a 73 win team. They beat a team that had this pre-Durant, and everyone was, they were down 3-1. That is an accomplishment in itself, to be down 3-1 and come back against a team that just won 73 games, that had the reigning MVP on that squad. It's just the hate that this guy receives is almost unbearable. It really is. When I see it on any sports groups or I hear about it on podcasts and shows, it almost makes me cringe. It's like, why do you hate this guy so much, man? because he's great, and people are intimidated by greatness, and that's just the way. People hate Tom Brady. People hate LeBron James. Why? Because they're the best in their game. Moving on up. Tweet at me at your boy Brian25. We are the podcast side, which is a live podcast right now. I'm doing it's on iHeartRadio, iTunes, soon to be on Spotify. Just Google Opinionated Sports Talk, and you'll find us in any podcasting app or anything. You can revisit these shows all the time. So let me just talk a little basic. No. I can't do that. I can't jump around yet. Sorry. I'm all over the place. It's Monday. It's my Sunday. I go back to work next week, tomorrow. Kawhi Leonard gave up. I'm going to say bluntly, straight up to you guys. This guy, he gave up on his team. If I was the San Antonio Spurs organization, if I was a teammate of his, I wouldn't want him back. I don't care how good he is. The guy is a quitter. He gave up on his teams. Now, where is he going to land next year? I have some ideas. These are trades. These are thoughts. These are teams that would benefit for him being on the team and benefit the Spurs. Of course, anytime you talk about a great player going anywhere, of course, is the LA Lakers. Kawhi Leonard's in it. He could end up an LA Laker. They could trade Brandon Ingram for him, which a young, talented player who can go to play ball in San Antonio with Popovich and learn a lot. I think that would be a good move for both sides. LA would get Kawhi Leonard, Lonzo Ball, who will develop, I believe, in time. That would really help. The Spurs can offer Kawhi the super max contract, but do they feel comfortable giving him a $219 million contract, who only played 9 games last season, who seemed to, like I said, to me, just give up on the Spurs? He was cleared to play months ago. He could have played in the postseason. He could have played against the Warriors, but he chose not to. Another team he can land on, which I think would solidify what I was saying earlier, and that's he could land in Philadelphia. If he lands in Philadelphia, if he lands as a 76er in Philadelphia, I think that team there would be no more LeBron going to the finals. Unless LeBron went to another team or got more help. Because it is a team sport. The 76ers would just be Kawhi Leonard, Ben Simmons, Marquez Fultz, Joel Embiid. That's as good as the Warriors team almost. I know they're younger. It will take time for them to develop, of course, to be of that nature of considered like the Warriors are. But that's a lot of talent right there. If Kawhi Leonard ended up there. If I was the Spurs, I wouldn't want him, man. I would try to trade him. I would try to get the best players out of the deal. I felt he gave up on him. And it's sad because Kawhi Leonard seemed like a dedicated, honorable player. He looked like he had a lot of honor when he played. A lot of how should I say? What word am I looking for here? Help me out. Self-awareness. And it seemed like he lost that when he did not come back to play. Now, there's stories of what happened. Was it between him and Popovich, between him and teammates? Was he fed up with Popovich and the Spurs organization? Only Kawhi knows. But another place he could land, which would really solidify that team as being the best in the East, would be the Boston Celtics. He could end up at Celtics. Now you're talking Jason Tatum, Kyrie Irving, Jason Hayward, and Kawhi Leonard. That would be a team that would just absolutely dominate the East. And the last team that he could end up on would be the Miami Heat. I don't see that one happening. There's not much for him over there. It's not a lot over there to entice him to come over there, unless they promised him we're going to get these players to surround you and stuff like that. As of right now, they don't have much surrounding. Dwayne Wade, older, he's probably going to retire, so you can't use him as your reason to get Kawhi over there. How much time we got left? All right, we're doing good. Guru Energy Drink, all organic. Check it out. Love it, love it, love it. Before I get to football, I'm gonna talk a little Giants baseball. I gotta keep my Bay Area fans happy here. I'm a Giants fan, born and raised right here in San Francisco. Well, sad news is they're not playing great. They've been playing better. They've been. They've been on a little bit of a roll, I should say. They in their last 10, they've won 8 of the last 10. They've won 4 in a row. But the bad news is they already don't have Bumgarner. Bumgarner already fractured his pitching hand before the season started, so they've been playing without Bumgarner. Now they lost Johnny Cueto. Johnny Cueto led the major leagues in ERA of the .84. He's going to miss 6 to 8 weeks. We're talking a month and a half, 2 months without Johnny Cueto. And that is really going to hurt the San Francisco Giants because they've been on a roll. They've come 4 games, within 4 games of the first place Arizona Diamondbacks. But with no Cueto, it's going to be really tough to continue this. But the good news is on that, I'll end it on some good news. There's no torn ligaments in his elbow, so he will not require surgery. The doctor looked at him and said he just needs to rest 6 to 8 weeks, which is going to be tough to do because, well, I mean, it's not going to be tough to do, but it's going to be tough for the Giants to continue this way of winning it 8 of the last 2 and the last 4 in a row. It's going to be tough without Johnny Cueto because he is the backbone of that pitching. With no Bumgarner, you don't have much going on there. On a side note, Tim Lincecum, good old Timmy. He's making his season debut today, or he did make his season debut in AAA. He will begin his rehab with the Texas Rangers. He's scheduled to pitch in relief. He's only going to pitch an inning or 2. 2-time Cy Young winner in 08 and 09. He's been with 3 World Series teams. To me, I kind of saw this coming with Tim Lincecum from his size. They called him a freak. He was throwing in the mid-90s when he was only 175 pounds and 5'8". I was like, this guy's not going to be able to do this his whole career. He's just not going to be able to throw 95, 93 miles an hour for 10 years of his career. He's just too small. Physically, he can't do it unless he beefed up. He didn't beef up, so he started losing velocity. Gradually, it deteriorated, and the Giants let him go. He played for Anaheim last year. He was like, I believe he was 3-8 or 3-6. He had an ERA of 09. But I'm rooting for the kid. I like Timmy. I really did. That's just a side note. I saw it and I read the article and I was like, let me mention this to the Timmy fans out there. I like Tim Lincecum. I wish him the best, man. I hope he comes back someday and plays good. On to the NFL. Let's talk some football now. This last half hour I got here. There was some news about Jason Witten. All of a sudden the guy retired. And of course, as soon as a player retires, the first thing they always bring up is Jason Witten Hall of Fame material? Now, if you listen to my show and you know my show, you know I think the Hall of Fame is a complete joke. But the question is Jason Witten going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer? Well, it's going to be tough. It's all going to depend on Tony Gonzalez, who's eligible in 2019. Out of the 8 tight ends that made the Hall of Fame from the modern era, none of them had got in on the first try. Tony Gonzalez, Jason Witten has better numbers than Tony Gonzalez, but it depends if they let Tony get in on the first ballot. If Tony gets in on the first ballot, then they should let Jason Witten get in the first ballot. And we know it's a political game in the Hall of Fame. We know, oh, he's a nice guy. We liked you. You know, they don't really look at numbers. I don't understand why Terrell didn't get in the first try. The guy had better numbers, and 3/4 of the wide receivers are already in there. You know, tight ends generally don't make it on the first ballot. It's just the way the NFL Hall of Fame is. They don't let them get in. He's 4th in NFL history in receptions. The only tight end to have more reception and yards is Tony Gonzalez. So the thing that the Dallas Cowboys are really going to lose is not just his ability to play the tight end position, is his durability. Witten was solid for 15 years. He averaged, 60 catches every season for 14 years of his 15-year career. Only Jerry Rice and Tony Gonzalez had more than 60 catches through their career on more 60 catches or more, I should say. Drinking too much of this energy drink, getting hyper here. He recorded 60 catches in his 14 of his 15 seasons. But that's not all Jason Witten was about. Jason Witten was a true tight end. The tight end position has become a glorified slot receiver, so to say. With all these new tight ends, the tight ends are not required. It's a passing game in the NFL now. It's about getting the ball downfield, stretching the field. It's not about like it used to be, 2 wide receivers, tight ends, 2 backs. No one runs that formation anymore. It's become a glorified wide receiver position almost, like a slot receiver. But Jason Witten was a true tight end. Jason Witten was able to block. He was great against the run game. I'm looking at my notes here. The guy was a stud. I think Dallas is going to be hurt by this, but it's not going to affect them too much. Dallas may be one of the most overrated teams in the NFL. Hate to say that, and I have a lot of Dallas fans that are friends out there, but it's true. They're always projected to do this, do that, and they never seem to live up to the hype. They haven't won a Super Bowl since, 95? So, I don't... If Tony Gonzalez gets in on his first try next season to the Hall of Fame, then Jason Witten will. It all depends on Tony Gonzalez, I feel. But then again, the Hall of Fame, we all know, come on, let's be real, the Hall of Fame is a joke. When you let Terrell Davis in the Hall of Fame, the guy played for, 6 seasons, and he was only good for 4. Oh, but he won Super Bowls. No, his team won Super Bowls, people. And you let Terrell Davis in the Hall of Fame, but you don't let Terrell Owens in the Hall of Fame. Look at the numbers. Numbers are what gets people in the Hall of Fame. Not, should get people in the Hall of Fame, I should say. But we all know he's a nice guy. He played a long time. It's a joke. Hall of Fame's a joke. I'm very testy about that. I get very emotional about that. Ben Roethlisberger kind of spotted off. Is that the right word? He kind of went off a little bit on the Steelers organization when they drafted Mason Rudolph, who I think is one of the better quarterbacks that no one's paying attention to in this draft. And I think the Steelers got a great pick in him. But quarterback Ben Roethlisberger, they said he was surprised that the Pittsburgh Steelers drafted quarterback after he notified them, after he told Pittsburgh that he is going to play for 3 to 5 years without any, barring any injuries. But then they went and drafted Mason Rudolph with the 76th overall pick out of Oklahoma State, and he didn't seem happy about it. Now, is Pittsburgh losing confidence in him? Or are they making a statement saying, you say this, but last year you said you were going to retire? Are they building for the future? Now, the good thing about this is they drafted Mason Rudolph, but in 2017, they drafted Josh Dobbs. Now, this is going to make a competition for the backup, Dobbs or Mason Rudolph. I think Mason Rudolph will be a very good quarterback in the NFL. I liked him out of Oklahoma State. I thought he's one of the better quarterbacks to come out of the draft. But does this... You can look at it both ways. Is Pittsburgh the organization making a statement saying, we're not sure about Ben, his play has deteriorated, he did say he was going to retire last year, but he came back. Now he's saying 3 to 5 years. What's it really about? Are they playing it safe? Or did they just take the best player that they thought was available in the draft? And Mason Rudolph, to me, is one of the best quarterbacks that came out of the draft. Everyone talks about Sam Darnold. Everyone's talking about Josh Rosen. Everyone's talking about, Lamar Jackson. But Mason Rudolph throws a very good deep ball. He's a big guy. He's strong. He has a great arm. And he fits into this Pittsburgh organization with the long ball. You're going to have Antonio Brown. You got Juju dude over there. And Roethlisberger kind of shot off of the mouth by saying, when the press asked him, I'll read it right here, asked about mentoring Rudolph, Roethlisberger was blunt. I do not think I need to. Now that he said he doesn't need me, if he asks me a question, I might just have to point to the playbook. Now, because Mason Rudolph said he doesn't need him, I don't know if that is a reason to say that. But let's look at this realistically. Ben Roethlisberger is getting older. The Steelers are not what they used to be offensively. They put up a lot of points. They have great receivers. But they have problems with the running game right now with Le'Veon Bell and his contract. Big Ben has 2 years left on his contract. Is he going to get that extension? Are they gonna? Is it gonna hinge on his play this year? If they're gonna, what the good thing is, it's give Mason Rudolph more time to develop. And I think when you sit behind a quarterback for a while, you learn the game. Maybe they don't mentor you. Maybe they don't say this is what you should do. They should do that. But you learn from watching. And I think that's a very what I've learned in my career is by watching and touching and getting my hand dirty. It's hard to learn things just from people telling you. It's doable, obviously. A lot of people have, but I just think that it's a lot better when you see things in front of you. If someone said, "This is how you install a light fixture," and I could tell you how to install a light fixture, I could tell you what the steps are, I could tell you what to do. But if I showed you and you were right there, I believe you'd get it a lot quicker. That's just, and I think Mason Rudolph sitting behind Big Ben would probably be the best thing for him. But is Ben on his way out? We don't know. That same thing with Joe Flacco and Lamar Jackson. Is drafting a quarterback showing that Flacco is on his way out? They are aging. We don't know. How much time do I got left here? I gotta check my status. I got 15 minutes. Oh, good. Love it. 15 minutes. How's everyone doing? Find the podcast on iHeartRadio. All you gotta do is go to iHeartRadio and in the search section type in Opinionated Sports Talk and you'll find a show. Look for the logo, click on it. It has all the shows there. Also on we're also on iHeart. Not only on iHeart, but we're on iTunes. Too many iHeart, iTunes. What is with the I's? Too many I's there. Now we're talking about quarterbacks in the NFL, and everyone's talking about Baker going number 1, Sam Darnold to the Jets. You got Josh Allen, Josh Rosen, very good quarterbacks. We'll see in time. These teams believe they have them, and these are why they believe they have them. Baker Mayfield, I don't think 600 pounds, really I mean, not 600 pounds. Jesus, what's wrong with me? Too much energy drink. 6 feet tall, less than 200 pounds, in a cold Cleveland City in the months of December, February. It's just January, February, if they get that far. December, November, in Cleveland, it could be cold. It is cold, and I don't think he's going to be able to handle those climates at a small framed quarterback like he is. As the number 1 draft pick overall, he's guaranteed a 4-year contract at $30 million. Signing bonus about $20 million, so it'll be over $50 million contract he should get. I'll talk about salary caps if I have enough time and what I think about him. They have Tyrod Taylor over there. They've said the right thing. Cleveland said the right thing. Oh, we're going to stick with Tyrod Taylor. He's our guy. But the salary cap and the way the NFL works and money and all this stuff, it all hinges on how Tyrod Taylor plays. Tyrod Taylor is set to make $16 million next year, which is more than Baker Mayfield's going to make in his first year in Cleveland. So Browns say the right thing by saying that Tyrod Taylor is going to be the starter. I don't believe he's going to play this year. I think he should sit and learn, like I said. But 2019, he will be playing. And that's going to go back to the money thing and how Tyrod Taylor plays. Tyrod Taylor plays out of his gore and takes his team to a playoff team, leads his team to a playoff game, or a winning record at least. Yeah, there's a good chance he could start, but they're not going to let the number 1 overall pick, Baker Mayfield, sit for 2 seasons. Not going to happen. Sam Darnold, 3rd overall pick, goes to the Jets. The Jets traded, let me see what I wrote down here. The Jets traded 3 second-round picks to move up 3 spots, putting themselves in a position to draft a quarterback. And they got lucky. They caught a big break when Sam Darnold was still on the board. I think Sam Darnold fits in New York well. Big, strong, moves well in the pocket. This is the highest the Jets have drafted a quarterback since Joe Namath went number 1 back in the days in the AFL. Sam Darnold, he is going to play. They don't have no one else. He is going to play next season. May not the first few games, may not be opening day, but he will be the quarterback by the time it comes around halfway through the season. He's accurate, like I said. He moves in the pocket very well. He fits in that West Coast offensive style that they run over there in New York for the Jets. He has his tendency to have his mechanical flaws. He threw, 21 interceptions and 24 career starts in USC. But those could be coachable items that could be worked out. But the question I have is he going to succeed with his defensive-minded coach, Todd Bowles? Is it going to be a marriage made in heaven, or is Sam Darnold going to have to find his own identity and become the offensive player on a defensive-minded team? Those are the questions that they're going to have to figure out over in New York. I only got about 10 minutes here. I was going to talk about Jackson's being drafted by the Ravens, and what does that mean for Baltimore and Joe Flacco? Well, Jackson will take over eventually, the quarterback role over there in Baltimore, no question about it. But when is the question? The quarterback position in the NFL has changed. It's not the pocket passers anymore. There's a very few of them left. It's all about who can move your feet, who can move outside the pocket. Small quarterbacks in warm weather or dome climate have succeeded. But I'm not a big fan of Jackson. I don't know if he's going to be, elite quarterback in the NFL. But Joe Flacco is the starting quarterback this year. He could remain the role through 2019 season. One of the reasons why I say that is Baltimore traded back in the first round to get Jackson because the Ravens have Flacco under contract. The Ravens struggled in the offense side of the ball last year. That's why they got him. And he brings a different style this new style of run, pass, strong, big quarterbacks to the league. Baltimore ranked last in NFL in the past 2 seasons with 85 plays over 20 yards or more. That's very low. Jackson had a total of 153 with passes and runs over 20 yards or more. So they're hoping that he brings this dynamic. But then again, it all comes to the contract and how well he plays and all that stuff. So, I believe that quarterbacks need to learn. They need to learn a system. It's very hard for a quarterback to be thrown into a system. Okay, there are exceptions. There are exceptions to the rule. If you have natural raw ability, if you're born with this gift to be a great quarterback, that's a whole different scenario. It's a whole different scenario. And you could actually, come in and play good. But a lot of quarterbacks, you're not getting those quarterbacks out of the draft anymore. You're not getting these quarterbacks that have that kind of talent. These quarterbacks need coaching, mentoring. They need a system that's developed around them. They need the right coaches. Dak Prescott landed in a perfect situation. We'll see if these quarterbacks, Baker Mayfield, I think he's in a struggle. I don't think he's going to be the franchise quarterback. I think Cleveland messed up on that pick again, which they seem to have done many years prior to that. So I was talking about salary caps. Now, what do you guys think? What does everyone think about salary caps? Salary caps okay? Do you like salary caps? Are they good for sports or are they bad for sports? Does it really balance out the playing field? In some cases, maybe. Some cases, not. It's all those salary caps don't directly influence the merchandise and the ticket prices and all that stuff, but they do affect teams on how they acquire or retire or keep their players, their athletes. The salary cap allows teams with less talent to have opportunity to entice players that are on a higher level, better players, because their team, the thought is, theoretically, did I say that right? Have the same amount of money. They're trying to make teams in smaller markets compete with the teams in the bigger markets. That's what the whole salary cap is about. If a team, it all started probably because of George Steinbrenner and I believe San Francisco 49ers and the Dallas Cowboys in the early 90s, like 80s and 90s. Everybody wanted to play with those teams because they had the money, they had the coaching, they were winning, and when they start winning, you get more money, so you're able to spend more money. The Yankees had their own. Steinbrenner was one of the richest guys he was the richest guy in baseball at the time. He had the Yes Network, which is the Yankees channel TV, so he was able to just spend money. But the salary cap stopped all that. Capping the amount a team can spend on players affects how much the athlete is earned and how much he's given per year. But what they do now is they hide it with the bonuses. But with rookies, they you're only allowed so much on the salary the signing bonus, I should call it, or whatever bonus they want to call it nowadays. In 1994, almost the entire Major League season was, they went on strike. They almost didn't play. They didn't play almost didn't play the whole season because the players in the league couldn't come up with an agreement on a proposal of the salary cap. And it's weird how they, if you think about it, a player gets less millions of dollars one year over more millions the next year and the next year after that. So what that does is it's a backloaded contract. You get a little money now, you get $1 million, you get $2 million here, $3 million next year, and then you get $8 million. You know, it's a $15 million contract, but you get 8 of it in your last 2 seasons, or you get 10 of it in your last 2 seasons. And the reason for that, because it gives teams and ownership time with the cap for them to watch them develop, and if they start deteriorating, they're able to trade or drop them and have money on that contract that will save them the money in on the salary cap. So you give a player like it, you know, let's just use Kaepernick as a perfect example. $150 million contract. Let's give Cap $150 million, but we're only going to give him this much his first 2 seasons, a little more his 3rd season, and a lot more in his 5th and 6th seasons. So, like Cap, he started digressing, got rid of him, saved money on the salary cap for those years, and they didn't spend that much on him. Okay, let's say hypothetically, 49ers spent $20 million on him. Now, if the contract was $150 for 10 years or whatever, 5 years, and it was evenly distributed per year, they would have lost a lot more money, and they wouldn't have as much money on the salary cap on the back end. So that's where the salary cap helps. That's where it comes into play. All my notes, yeah, I write all that stuff, man. I sit there in front of the computer and I type this stuff, man. Then I read it over and highlight the important parts. It's your boy Brian Tweedy. So the salary cap is a good thing and it's a bad thing. If you're a player, it may not be as good as you want it to be. But get that signing bonus. Get that money up front. Football money's not guaranteed either. Baseball money's guaranteed. You get a $150 million contract, you get a $150 million contract. You get hurt, you get to play. And there's those clauses in there. Football, you have to play a certain amount of snaps and all that stuff. The salary cap was introduced at NFL in 1993 collective bargaining agreement and was implemented in 2011. I like the salary cap idea. It does level the playing field a little bit, but there's always going to be a way around it. Sorry, I ran out of time. Don't forget Guru Energy Drink, all organic, no GMO. Energy now, crash later. I'll be back, my weekly episode next week of Debate, Dispute, Controversy, the OST, the Opinion Sports Talk Show. Find a podcast on iHeartRadio, iTunes, Stitcher.com/OST show, Blog Talk Radio/OST show. Thank you guys for listening, and I'll be back.